the CEO of the CLE, and also the director, the person in charge of examinations from the CLE. Maybe they'll attempt to demystify that issue, whether it was really 21% pass, the 300 that passed, was it the 300 that did all the 9? You know, that we decide to do a few units per exam. So is it really 21 out of all those who did all the exams, or 21% of all those who passed all the 9 Ps outside those who did not sit all the exams? So maybe they'll do that clarification. But that is just a start of my presentation. The other thing is, as Mark will tell you, is that in addition to the 9 Ps that you're coming for here, there's something else that you're coming to do here. This is a place where you brand yourself. No branding yourself. You create your brand of what you will be thereafter. Network, project the image and the seriousness that you want people to have of you several years thereafter in school. The person that your colleagues will refer to business whenever there is conflict. The person that will lobby and vouch for you when you appear in an interview panel where they are seated. No one is going to vouch for a serious person because they don't want to also spoil their reputation. So create your brand as of now. And then I come to now, it's also a course, pupillage, ATP 110. That is the one I coordinate. Okay, that's the one I coordinate. I don't know how many did I teach in the university. I taught some in the university, must be among the last ones I taught in the university. University is more theory, grounding in the knowledge. Kenya School of Law is a sort of transition period, a point between legal practice. You are taught to apply the law. So here at the Kenya School of Law, the year course training is about being taught how to apply that law. And most of the things that we do in class, we try to make it as practical as possible, but we simulate. Okay, we don't have real life examples here, but we simulate using examples. Okay, or hypothetical situations. Now there is that phase that comes in, which is also part of the advocates training program, which is known as the pupillage. Okay, after we release you from here, then you now go to the real world where you go and meet with the real legal practice there. You meet with real clients, of course, under the supervision of a legal practitioner, an advocate. So that is the pupillage, ATP 110, which comes at after you are in training. Starts from sometimes the ones for 2025 have just begun pupillage now. They are registering for pupillage. So when that time comes, you take it up. But it would be good for you also to start identifying the right place for you now, because where you serve your pupillage also might be something that will determine whether you'll have a good career or not. How many are already or have already been in some place doing internship? I think we call that internship, not official pupillage. How many are doing internship somewhere? Okay, so maybe that place is where you will continue thereafter. Maybe after some point, if you are not, there are those who will manage to go on with those internship even as you are in school. There are those who think after some time it becomes a bit intense. I also did the same thing after university. I went to a law firm immediately after university, and I did internship after university, and I realized it was able to help me. I was here in the year 2008. I think I can remember that I could walk into a civil litigation class straight from without even having gone through anything, because I have some experience, so that if you have some training on how to do drafting, if you are doing it every day, it will boost you. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to read, because wherever you are, you're not covering everything. Here in school, we are doing a structured. But I'm saying if you're able to get that kind of experience, the better. But if it gets intense along the way, you just pave it and then focus on the school, because there'll be a lot of group discussions, projects, presentations in class, etc. So when the time comes, or if you're still identifying now, we have the automatic pupillage centers are law firms, the Office of the Attorney General, the Office of the DPP, the judiciary. And then there are other institutions who are also allowed to offer pupillage. They are normally accredited. So when you look at the website, you can pick the one that you prefer. Some institutions are accredited for a period of 6 months, others are accredited for a period of 3 months. The one that give 3 months, you have to move on to another one. If there's a reason why they are told to do 3 months, if it's in-house, there are certain areas that the institution doesn't cover, then it is good for you to supplement that and go to a place where you get a different experience, because that is the intention. Okay, that is the intention. If you think there's an institution that you really want to do pupillage, you think they have a legal department that can offer pupillage, there's a process. Have them apply to the school for accreditation, and then they'll be accredited. So by the time you finish your in-house training here, in-school training, then you'll have a place to go to. Okay, that is ATP 110. That one is easy to pass. Just comply, fill the work properly, comply with the requirements. Okay, that one is not difficult to pass. That is all I can say for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. San. The pupillage is 6 months, and then we usually train using codes, and that is what he was talking about. And also, there's the moot competitions which we normally have, and these ones we sometimes go to up to international level. So keep watch over that. So then again, we have mentorship programs whereby we bring lawyers from town and just other people, even talking about financial issues, who will be Mr. Munide is in charge of that, so he'll be bringing them time to time. So you'll be expected to attend those ones as well. Now, the next person is going to be, is going to be Ruth. Ruth also has something to attend to in town, so we are allowing her to come before. She can finish.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ruth Kidega. I'm in charge of corporate communication. So basically, our section has a few things that it helps in the school. We're in charge of brand reputation, we're in charge of photography, and maybe we should have put a disclaimer before the start of the event. We normally take photos during key events at the school, but these photos are not for marketing purposes. When we want to do marketing initiative, we have a procedure that we use for those students that are interested. We send out a communication, and those interested for marketing functions or activities, you have to fill in a consent form. So the photos that they're being taken today is for purposes of updating our social media and for purposes of information only. So I'll just highlight a few things because I don't want to repeat what has already been done. So we are also in charge of social media platform, and currently the school has 6 social media platforms. We have the X platform, the Meta platform, IG, LinkedIn, TikTok, and WhatsApp channel. Kindly please subscribe to our social media platform because that's where we normally put a lot of information. Like I think yesterday we posted about this briefing, and in case of any information that the school want to communicate to you, it will always be shared there. The other key thing I want to highlight that is very important as you undertake your ATP program is how we communicate as a school. We have different channels for communication. For instance, emails. Please take note. I know my colleague will talk about specific emails for specific inquiries. Like if it's about finance, there is an email for that, ICT support or any issue to do with ICT. Please take note of those specific emails for you to be able to be served well. Apart from that, in case you don't know where to place maybe your inquiry, we have 2 general email. We have the law school, and we also have the customer care. In case you're not sure where you want your issue to be addressed, you can use those 2. Then I'll talk about how we resolve complaint. No one is perfect, even as a human being. As a school, we are not perfect. but we try to serve our customer to the best of our level. But I know sometimes issues could arise, which can lead to complaint. In case there is a complaint, we have the channels on how we address them. We have a complaint email for the school, which is complaints@ksl.ac.ke. And we also have black book, written compliments or complaint at service desk. Like for instance, at customer care at Gate A or at Gate C, you'll find those books at academic office, at the ATP office. Those books are placed there. In case you have any complaint, you can put your complaint there and we'll try to resolve it within the shortest time possible. The other thing I would like to address is the issue to do with what we do apart from those key areas that you need to know. We have publication, we're in charge of the school publication. We normally have a newsletter and we do it twice per year. We have the April edition and we have the November edition. We normally send out communication via social media platform or sometimes via your lecturers. They can request you if you're interested in writing. We normally have a theme for each edition. Please, if it's something that you would be interested in, you can always put your article when you send out that communication. We're also in charge of corporate social responsibility activity. It's the responsibility for an organization to give back to the community. So when we have those events, we normally request, depending on the amount of finances we have, we put out a request, maybe through your class representative, to give us a few students who can accompany the staff when we're doing such activity. But sometimes you also have students organizing their own initiative as corporate social responsibility. We always carry out 2 surveys, and I think during your time when you're undertaking this program, we will involve you in customer satisfaction survey sometimes around September. Please give us feedback when you send out that survey, because that's the only way we are able to improve as a school or to know where we are doing well. I think that is it from my end. I wish you all the very best. You have heard from your colleague that it's doable. KSL is a good place. Please be a good ambassador. Please help us build our brand. It is a good place, I can guarantee you. And I wish you all the very best. God bless you. My office is on the other side at Gate C. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we've been told about disclaimers. Usually we have disclaimers when it comes to photography. And remember, if you don't want to be seen in a group photo, do not stand there, then start complaining later. Because once we have them, we have your authority to use it. So please, if you don't want to appear in a group photo, not here you have to be here. If you don't want to appear in a group photo, don't be there. Then the other thing that we didn't mention, we usually have legal aid, where we give legal aid to communities. And these communities, we usually go out of town sometimes, but we also just do locally. If you're interested, I'm the one who's in charge of those legal aid, and we'll get to know about them sooner or later. So we won't be able to tell you everything, but we will keep on updating you. Now, the next person is the acting coordinator of the paralegal training program. She'll tell you more about that.
Director, Kenya School of Law, Dr. Henry Mutai, to the CEO, Council of Legal Education, Professor Jack Mimani. The Director Examination CLE was here, but I think he stepped out. Dr. Odhiambo, Assistant Director, Acting, ATP, Anastasia Utieno, other senior members of management at the school, members of staff, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name, as I previously mentioned, is Margaret Mounda. I am a senior lecturer at the school. I teach and coordinate the legal practice management unit. And at the moment, I'm also the acting coordinator for the paralegal training program. The paralegal training program is another teaching department of the school. And for these ones, you find that they're the ones who we offer to the individuals who did not meet the cutoff point to come into bachelor's, and sometimes we also target professionals who are intending to take law as a continuing professional development course. So you'll find that we have a myriad of individuals who actually take our paralegal training program. And on that note, you will notice as you're walking around some very young faces. Most of them, I think now they are 18 for the most part, but from around me, you'll see 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds walking around. They are here for the paralegal training program. They do use the phase 2, which is directly across, and our other location in town, which is at Development House on 5th and 6th floor. I'm not sure whether you would like to know about the eligibility requirements, but for those of you who are interested, they're listed in the second schedule, Part B of the Kenya School of Law Act. Now, for our admissions, for those of you who have someone who they know who is interested in joining our PTP, we do admissions once a year. So the applications ordinarily go out around end of February, beginning of March, and then the classes start in May. We only have one intake every year, and the applications can actually be done through the KUSUP's website or through the Kenya School of Law portal directly. It's a 2-year program, and at the end of the 2 years, they normally have a 3-month attachment period. And other than that, a few other things that I thought important to mention is the fact that I have to protect their interests by virtue of the fact that they are 17 for the most part, especially the ones who come to Harry. Please. They're 17. Don't let them lie to you. We don't want to catch cases. So I have to protect their interests. Some of them will lie to you and tell you they're 18, but we actually have admitted quite a significant number on the basis of, as long as they have their KCSE results. Secondly, also notice that I mentioned that they do use the lecture hall directly across. That means that they are also sharing other resources of the school. At the school, all students are treated equally regardless of the department that they're in. Whether you're an ATP student or a PTP student, at the end of the day, you're a bona fide student of the Kenya School of Law, and none is more important than the other. We are all equal. So that means when we're going, and especially Madam Anastasia mentioned legal aids, we do actually share resources, even to the extent of when we're going for legal aid, we do take our paralegal students to the same legal aid activities that ATP students go for. So at some point, we might ask you to guide them by virtue of the fact that you know a little bit more than them. So we would appreciate it if you just have that at the back of your mind. I don't have much to say other than that, but welcome to the school. And as everyone else has mentioned, it is very doable. Thank you.
Just to remind you, those are what and we made it. It's not just happening to you. And just there's one thing here that I was required to mention. There's also a Kenya School of Law Yearbook Club, which then brings students together and document and celebrate their experiences at KSL through photography, writing, and design of events. If you are interested in that, the next person is now the academic services. I'll hand over to the academic services, who will then call the student on Friday. Where is the name? There you go.
Yes, good morning, students. My name is Nelly. All protocol observed. And I want to put across 3 things because we've interacted with you already. And I know you are a product of the activities that take place in the academic services. So I stand here representing the principal academic officer who is engaged in another activity, and I will be brief. So we do the students admission to both the 2 programs. We do admit students to ATP and process that your records kept safe and actually confidential, and make sure you're placed in the classes that you have indicated in your registration forms. And so far, so good. I think the list will be out by Saturday evening, actually afternoon. That is when you'll be able to know which class you've been placed. And in case you would want to change or swap, we do provide a form that you will physically come to academic services and be able to swap with a colleague, a fellow students which you have identified in the class that you want to swap to. So we also handle examinations, and particularly the oral exams. And this is the administration part that we handle. As Madam Anastasia has indicated that they do examine you through the oral part of the examination. We also give you we collect the coursework and we make sure that the project work is safe. The only emphasis that I would want to put across is make sure that you attend 2/3 of the meetings that are provided for you to earn your coursework marks, because that would go hand in hand with the written examination in CAD, whereby you would get an I, and that would not sound good if you didn't do your coursework or you didn't meet the 2/3. So in relation to the records that we also have, we want to assure you of the confidentiality. Make sure your next of kin is clearly written in the forms that you've given us. And in case of any emergency, we would be able to contact them. So feel free to also come to our offices whenever you would want a recommendation letter that you would need in the course of serving pupillage, because it is our department that handle that. We will be able to verify our records to make sure that you are indeed a bona fide student, and you will be able to get that. So I also want to put across the issue of student disciplinary, whereby the office also offer at ATP the administrative part to make sure that the process is seamless. And for sure, we wouldn't like any one of you to be called upon to disciplinary or to show cause because of, something that already you've been shared. Like we have a student's booklet that is online, and actually you should be able to make sure that you know all those requirements that is expected of you as a student here, and your tenure in the school will be very smooth. Otherwise, we are grateful. Congratulations to all of you. It wasn't easy to be part of the community and the admissions that the school has offered you, and I wish you well, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Now the next person is Dorcas.
Kidogo tu. Maneno ni kidogo, maneno yangu ni machache. Good afternoon. How are you today? Yeah, please say hi to your neighbor and let them tell you your name. Jina moja tu. Because the person next seated to you, she or he is going to be your accountability partner. Mpaka mwisho, si ndivyo? Hii safari ni mrefu. Hii safari ni mrefu na ni fupi. But safari inakuanga rahisi when you walk together, isn't it? Yeah, the journey is easier when you walk together. And I'm honored and privileged. I'm honored and privileged to stand before you All protocols observed. My name is Dorcas Mwachia. On behalf of the Student Welfare Committee, I'd like to let you know that as Student Welfare, we are here to support you and to work with you mpaka mwisho. That means until your 18 months are over. So for welfare matters, we have, hii safari ikiendelea kuwa nzito, you realize that hautaki, you need some spiritual intervention. You might need spiritual intervention. So we have prayer rooms, We have prayer rooms. On a prayer room for our brothers and sisters who are Muslims, prayer room iko just within the Mutula Hall. Alafu for our Christians, on the other side in phase 2. So in case of anything, umona no one anakuelewa, God is there for you. We prepare annual work plans. We prepare annual work plans for student activities. Ukisikia mambo ya welfare, it's just good vibes. Just good vibes and what? And inshallah. So for matters of preparing annual work plans, it's through your student leaders. Your student leaders are the ones who sit in the Student Welfare Committee. Tunapanga mikakati ya mwaka, we organize activities for a year, and the activities include the gala, the cultural and club activities. This is another chance for you, if you have any ideas to start or to join the existing clubs, please feel free to join. And then we have compassionate support. Guided by the Student Welfare Policy, we offer compassionate support in case of a medical emergency or a death of a student. As I initially said, I'm a counselor, I'm a psychologist. I'm passionate and privileged to work with lawyers. So as we journey together here, give me also a chance to talk to the person behind the well-tailored, elegant suit, because that's the person that will be with you throughout. So in this journey, because as human, trying moments are going to come, isn't it? Mambo itakuwa mingi, but as you journey, please don't lose grip of yourself. You need you until the 18 months are over. So when those trying moments are here, remember the office of the counselor will help you, will walk with you, will journey with you for any kind of issues. Because as you journey, I realize group dynamics are going to come. Ukifika, project works. Mkishagawanywa kwa vikundi, when you are in your groups, you realize those group dynamics, the real you start coming out. Your leader frustrates you, or your fellow colleagues frustrates you. And there is no hakuna kutoka. So you have to know that this journey umeshaanza, in case of anything, as a welfare, as a counselor, this is where you can always come and be a human. Kidogo tu. Ni hayo tu kwa sasa. Asanteni sana and God bless you. Karibuni Kenya School.
Now, I'm very grateful. She's usually quite a talker, and she's also a joy to listen to. So she'll be available at the office. So in case of anything, do not hang yourself before you see her. She's the one who gives permission for those kinds of things, and I'm sure she'll say no. So make sure you see her at all times. She's available at all times. And if you don't want to see her physically, she's even available online. We have a counseling office, it's somewhere around there. So the other issue that the other person that needs to come here, the librarian, please come.
All protocols observed. Good morning. Welcome to Kenya School of Law. My name is Judy.
Ngana, Senior Library Assistant, and on behalf of KSL Library, I welcome you there. We have been waiting for you. The main library, which has your correction, is located in Academic Complex here in this gate where we are, and it's fully equipped to support your academic and professional needs. Then we have another town campus library. It's in Development House, 6th floor. Currently, the library operates from Monday to Friday between 8:30 to 5 p.m. And also, it's closed on weekends and public holidays. The library provides access to both print and electronic information resources. For e-resources, we have ebooks and e-journals. We have Library Law Africa ebooks and databases like LexisNexis and all that. For print, we have textbooks, Kenya Law reports, reference materials, and other legal publication. We also have an institutional repository, this space, where we have the past papers, the course outlines, and other legal publications. We also have My Loft, my library on fingertips, which allows for remote access to the subscribed e-resources. So when you're outside KSL, that is, you're outside the IP range, that is the platform you'll be using to access the subscribed databases. For borrowing, you need your student ID. You present it at the circulation desk, and you're allowed to borrow 3 books for a period of 1 week, which is renewable, subject to availability. We have overdue fines which apply, 20 shillings per day for long loan items and 20 shillings for short loan. Report any lost library material immediately. Avoid defacing, mutilating library books. In addition, we'll conduct an ILCT, information literacy and competency training. It's mandatory and it's aimed at equipping you with rigorous research skills, effective database search techniques. So that's the dates will be communicated once your official KSL email address has been activated, and we'll give you 1 week advance notice to allow you to prepare, activate the emails, and attend the sessions. For further inquiries, assistance, or clarification, you can reach out via library@ksl.ac.ke. You're also encouraged to regularly visit the library website, familiarize yourself with the rules and regulations, the various sections and services that we offer in the library. Once again, welcome to KSL Library, and we assure you of our continued support throughout your academic journey. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Judy. Now, remember that this space is very important. That is where you meet the past papers. You go to this space, find the past papers early so that even as you're reading, you don't get a shock when you get to the exam room and you find that, oh, this is the substance of the past papers. You're supposed to meet the past papers before you get to the examination. Now, the next person is the finance person, who is a very important component of any organization.
Good morning once again. My name is Ruth Daloni. I'm the principal accountant, and I believe that we have all met. This is what I usually say during orientation. Have we all met? Have you visited finance? How many have not visited finance? By a show of hands. You're welcome to visit us. So now that we've already met, mine is very brief. So at the finance department, our main role is to ensure that we receive your fees, we update your statements, and we ensure that all the monies you brought is also utilized to the activities of the school. Currently, we have an ERP that is linked to the bank. So immediately you pay your fee, then your account is updated. So if we've already met and you've cleared your fee, we may not have a chance to meet again. For those who have not cleared their fee, as the Assistant Director ATP has said, our fee policy stipulates that you should pay 75%. But we know times are hard, economic times are hard, or they're not hard for you. Are they? Are the economic times good? Okay, so because of those variations, the director is able to have a case-to-case basis. If you're not able to get to the 75%, you're welcome to see the director. You'll be able to talk to him, you'll be able to do an email, a letter, and you'll be able to do your commitments. So let me talk now after you do the commitment, because this is where the problem arises. When you're doing your orals, the fee requirement is that you have cleared the full fees. So we'll be very gracious to you. The director will be gracious to you to allow you to register even if you've not met the threshold. But on the day of orals, we will not allow you to sit for orals with a balance. So for those who have not cleared their fee, you have ample time. I had the assistant director say that the orals will run from 20th of July. So you have ample time to make a payment plan. July may seem so far off, but it's always good to make the plan on how you're going to clear your fee, because it's always a sad time when you've gone through the 2 terms. It is now orals time, you've not cleared your fee. You cannot do the orals. It is a bad situation. So please, if you've not cleared the fee, ensure you make that arrangement. The next thing is ensure you capture your registration number well as you pay to the school. There are also other institutions. Maybe you're getting a sponsorship from various institutions. If, for instance, you find that your fee has not been updated, you're free to reach out to us. Our email is finance@ksl.ac.ke. After you have paid, you don't have to bring your slip or even do an email. Just check your portal. If it is not updated, then that is the time you are going to reach out to us. I'll also speak on behalf of my colleague from procurement, just to note that we have a procurement department to ensure that all the activities of the students are running well. We have a department that has to procure, that has to ensure all the bills are paid, that has to ensure repairs are done and all that. That is the procurement department, is headed by my colleague called Mariam. Finally, I wish you well. The speakers ahead of me have said, yes, it is possible. I know you will be having much more speakers after me. The directors were here, and they will tell you it is possible. So for me, it's to wish you well and to say the time is short. We were just here for the other orientation. I mean, it looks like yesterday. So please, from day one, remain focused. Be keen on what you're doing. Have good relationships, as you have been told. I'm still insisting the 10th fee. Don't forget about it. It's an important aspect of your life. And above all, I pray that you have good health. You know, when you're in good health, you'll have a sound mind, you'll be physically fit, you'll be able to do your studies well. So all the best, congratulations, and welcome to the Kenyan School of Law.
Now, one thing that keeps on coming up, know the person next to you. Know the person within you. The person next to you might probably vote the Kenyan style, that we're in school with so-and-so. You know, you have to know somebody from your school. Otherwise, you might not know that you have a certificate. So the next person is the ICT.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's 12 noon exactly. Welcome to the Kenya School of Law. We are the department that supports all what you heard. So my name is Alessio Kinyua. I'm the senior ICT officer. And we will be interacting severally when it comes to setting you up, whether you are attending online class or the physical class. So we will be sharing with you your student email. For those in online, that is very key because that is the email that you'll be using to log into class. We do not allow other emails to join the class, except for this online induction, where we've not provided that. We open up the system to allow us to reach out to you. So the department, what the department does is that we set up what you are seeing here, the microphones. You see the hall is big. So all classes have microphones. They have a projector for projection. When you are doing your group presentations, you will be connected to that projector so that the other students can be able to see. Yeah. Apart from that, we also have the website. I believe you've all interacted with the website. There is where you started the application process or looking at the requirements. So make use of the website. We also have other systems. We have, as you heard, we have an ERP that manages all the other departments, including the ATP, where you've been able to pay your fees. And we also offer support to students and to the staff. So we have a students portal that you can check your balance. And then the assistant director mentioned something about attendance. We will be having an attendance system where instead of signing on a piece of paper, you'll be scanning or opening the QR code. We'll be scanning the QR code to register your attendance in class, and that QR code is locked. You cannot log in when you are those gazebos that you see on the field there. It must be in class for you to clock in. So apart from that also, we set the groups for classes, and we do not offer support when it comes to your farm work. So the group that you are joining, the group that the farm that you belong to, make sure to use the platforms that you are assigned. Even those who will be coming in for physical classes, make sure you activate your email. That email will be sent by end of day tomorrow. And since there's a class on Monday, that is class C, the online one, we'll be conducting an orientation for using these platforms tomorrow. Tomorrow at 4. Will everyone be available? Those who won't be available, raise your hand. By show of hand. So what we do, once that is done, we will record that for those who might not be able to attend that session. We will record and share with you so that in case you run into trouble or issues when you are using this account, you can identify. But in case you are unable to use those platforms that we will give you, we have the emails. We have the student emails. We have the library emails. If it is something to do with finance, you've heard that their email is finance. If it is student, there is an email that is called student enquiries. Student enquiries at ksl.ac.ke. That is where you make your requests. So on behalf of the school, make sure you use the website when there are the communication regarding classes allocation. I believe it will be posted there so that you know which class you belong to. So once that is set, we will put you in a group so that in case you want to communicate as a class, you'll be able to communicate without the other classes. You can communicate in your class. That is it for the department. I welcome you to the school. There are offices in Gate C and here in Gate A. The office above there is where the microphone is controlled from. So in case you have an issue, you are physically here, you can walk out to that office or go to the office in Gate A. Thank you very much and welcome to the school.
Thank you for that. Now, the next person is the Human Resources Administration and Hospitality.
Members of staff who serve in administrative departments. And I would like to assure you that we have adequate staff, competent, and well committed to ensuring that you get the best experience in the Kenya School of Law. Then I move on to the administration section. Our administration section is charged with a number of assignments. First of all, we have the issue of the physical infrastructure, the lecture halls, like the library, the physical aspects, the physical infrastructure. It is our administration section that deals with that. And majorly when it comes to matters, repairs and maintenance. During your stay or during your studies here, maybe you have some issues with the chairs, maybe with electricity, and other facilities. It is our department that will come in handy to deal with such needed repairs. And we have a team on the ground to ensure that any issues related to repairs and maintenance are responded to soonest possible to ensure that you continue enjoying or having conducive learning environment. The other bit about administration section is security. We also ensure that our school is secure. And in that case, we have contracted security service providers. You see them around at the gate. They also do patrols around to ensure that even you are on if you have a laptop, you have some any possession, anything, your belongings are secure. But in an event where maybe you lose any of your belongings, we have a security office just at the entrance of the academics complex. Please feel free to report them. But what I would like to emphasize is that when you are coming in and leaving the school, you might be requested to avail yourself for a search. Not always, but it might become necessary. Should that happen, kindly cooperate. It is for our good, because you never know when maybe the next time you'll be the one complaining that you have lost an item. Again, those searches also ensure that we are safe from intruders, because not everyone who is accessing the school comes with very godly intentions. We also have, we also do cleaning of the school and ensure that also we operate in a healthy and safe environment. So we have also outsourced a cleaning company to do that. While on the issue of safety, the school has 2 assembling grounds, assembling points in case of an emergency. If an alarm is raised when you are in gate A and you are supposed to exit from wherever you are, the assembly point is just across this pitch, to the very end where you can see gazebos. That is where the assembly point is. That is where you are supposed to assemble so that every one of us is accounted for. Should an alarm be raised when you are in gate C, and I gather all of you have been there, the assembly point is to the western side of the parking lot. If you imagine the parking lot in gate C and the west part of it, the assembly point is there. So should an emergency, an alarm be raised, kindly assemble there so that you are accounted for. Finally, under administration, we do manage the transport. We have vehicles, majorly for students. It was the Assistant Director ATP did mention that during your studies, you'll be doing legal clinics. So we provide transport to students when they are going for study tours or in an informal event.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Some of you are laughing. I hope we have not interacted in a bad way. My name is Felix Obiambo. I wanted to begin by taking this opportunity to thank the school through the director, Dr. Henry Mutai, and the team from CLE for this opportunity. But more importantly, our colleagues, because we are indeed colleagues. And mine at this point is just to make a few remarks. I want to reiterate the position that I was given by members of the Student Council that please take your discipline very seriously within your time here, and so that you do not find yourself afoul of the law. Every time I remember my experience within this institution several years ago. During my time, we had 3 students. The rule is if you are a smoker, you shouldn't smoke within the precincts of school. I don't know whether that still remains the position. But during that time, the signages were placed by the gate, the outside part. So 3 of our colleagues were found smoking within the school. And when they were subjected to the disciplinary process, their argument, they had a very mischievous argument. And the argument was the signage banned them, prohibited from smoking. The signage is placed outside the school. So they understood that the no smoking sign meant they should not have been smoking outside the school. Now that they were smoking within the school, then that was permissible. Of course, that was mischievous, and they were found liable, and I think their sanctions, appropriate sanctions were made. But the long and short of it, colleagues, is that let's try to be disciplined. And discipline does not just stop at that. Discipline for me also goes towards ensuring that you attend the requisite minimum number of lectures that are required of you. And more importantly, also that you ensure that you participate in your project work so that the results, when the school submits the results to this to CLE, you do not find yourself in the most unfortunate situation where there is a note down there in the project report indicating that you're not supposed to earn the marks that your colleagues would have earned. Also, very importantly, colleagues, I would like to urge you to take your orals and projects very seriously. Sometimes it makes a difference, a big difference. The 2 components make a big difference on whether or not you are able to pass your exams with the relative ease that you should have, with which you should pass them. So if you find yourself sometimes, like the speakers before me have spoken, the issue of group dynamics, sometimes you find yourself in farms with people whom you may not like, or you may not have a good working relationship. Please, rule number 1, remember that farms are not for people to love each other, but if you can love each other, the better. But you need to be have the bigger picture of doing that which the farm requires of you. If your colleagues are not willing to do the work yourself. Because at the end of the day, the marks will go a long way in saving you. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to encourage you into the task that lies ahead. Mine is to urge you and remind you that it is doable. It is doable because so many people, the experience of Fortune was here, Agnes was here, the president, Mr. Samuel Amakouya, all of them have spoken to you about them being able to do it. So you should not have doubts in terms of whether or not you can do it, because this is testimony to the fact that it is doable. Ours would be to facilitate you so that nobody should lie to you that there is a policy to lock you out of the system. I would look forward to, all of you who are starting this journey today being eligible for admission with effect from 18th of November next year. So in just a few months, just about 1 year, 7 months, 1 year, 10 months from now, most of you, if not all of you, should be eligible for admission. I wish you well, colleagues, and I want to take this opportunity to encourage you that as you walk this journey, know that you have our blessings and our prayers. Thank you so much. Have a good evening and a great stay ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. And I should also say that closer towards the exams, you will see Dr. Biambo here again to give you a more detailed briefing about what is required to register. So today he was just here to come and say hello, but you can expect another session towards probably October of this year. My next duty is to welcome the CEO of the Council of Legal Education. We work very closely together with the council. We are basically twins when it comes to the delivery of the Advocates Training Program. And I'm happy that he has taken time out of his schedule to come here today, say a few words to you, and also welcome you to this journey, Professor.
Have I interfered? Is this? Thank you so much, Dr. for your kind words and the invitation. Permit me to congratulate you and welcome you to the Kenya School of Law, and beyond that to the Advocates Training Program, the ATP. I'm using the second word because the responsibility of running and administering the Advocates Training Program lies with our two institutions. The first one being the Kenya School of Law, where you are, and in which you're going to be undertaking your bar examination training. And then the second institution is the Council of Legal Education, from where Dr. Odhiambo and myself represent. We will be the examining institution, and therefore, after you have successfully undertaken your studies here over the period of more than 10 months, then we will have the opportunity to engage with you by examining you, again in collaboration with the school. The outgoing deputy, or is it vice or deputy president, pointed out that CLE is another thing. I took that word and had directly. I want to encourage you that we are not another thing, in the context that we will examine on the basis of what you would have been taught here. I have heard keenly what other speakers have mentioned. It is important for you to give your best classes, doing your part, and the rest for me is not an impossibility. Quite a number of those who have attended the program have passed. So you can be one of those that have passed. I have always struggled with this notion of 9P being the pass, because, and I think I have interacted with some of you as a lecturer, when you do a paper, there has never been an institution I've gone to, and I have done so in more than 5 institutions. And if I add the ones that I have taught, there are more than 20. None of them have demanded that you pass everything at one sitting or everything in any one particular paper that you undertake. So in many of the universities in Kenya, you'll find that if you attain 40% of the score, you would have passed that examination, isn't it? So if you pass with 40% in 7 units or in 14 units that you take in a year, have you failed or have you passed? And I'm saying this because there are many circumstances or situations that may lead you not to be able to clear everything in one go. That does not mean that you're not able to clear. We actually give you an opportunity to be able to retake where you have not been successful. And that, in many cases, people would then clear. In fact, I have always considered a test of mettle and strength for those who are able to pass through the system, despite the challenges that they may face. There are times you may be unwell. You may have not read the part that was examined. You may have been confused with the question that was examined that you knew, and many other reasons as to why you may not have done well in a particular paper. That does not mean that you as a student is not clever enough, is not bright enough to be able to be admitted as an advocate. It just tells you that you require another opportunity, another take of it. When I started my schooling at a very elementary level, those days we didn't have PP1, PP2, baby class. We just went to nursery. And then from nursery, we went to class 1. And some of us had the opportunity of keeping nursery and went just straight to class 1. But there was an exam that we used to take to qualify you for class 1. And that was you had to pass your hand around your head. And if you were able to touch your ear, then you would qualify to join class 1. Being a very short man, of course, I took that exam 3 times. But I would like to think that it was not because of the shortness that made me take that exam 3 times, but I was rather a thorough person. Thorough in the sense that if I did not understand at the first instance, I would retake until I'm able to understand. And that may have helped me to take the nursery school examination 3 times until I was able to qualify or to be certified as qualified to join class 1. Ladies and gentlemen, that was not the first time that I have failed, and that was not definitely the last time. I continue to attempt, and I continue to face challenges, and I continue to excel. So I would like to think. I'm having this conversation with you because I know sometimes when you sit where you are, the bar exams become a life and death situation. It's a life and death situation. People come to my office literally crying. Some want to commit suicide, thinking how, the world has come down because they have not been able to clear just one paper. Beyond the class, the nursery school exploits, I would also want to give you my post-secondary school exploits. I was admitted to a school of law in 1998 to do law. I was admitted to the bar to be an advocate in 2010. I took my first practice certificate in 2011. When I first came to apply to this institution to join the bar exam, I thought the world was coming down. I thought everything was just because I had fixated my mind towards being able to qualify and being able to come and finish and become an advocate. I can tell you for certain, I have practiced as an advocate and have practiced for about 14 or 15 years. I've taught longer. I have never made a single cent from practice, but I have practiced. I have cases, if you go to kenyalaw.org, you'll find I'm cited as having been in practice. And I want to also believe that I have practiced successfully. But what I thought was so critical and important for me turned out not to be that important. Actually, I immersed myself in academy. I taught for about, right now it's about 18 years. And I have been in management and administration for almost 13 or 14 years. In senior management and administration, having been a dean for 8 years, having been a principal, acting principal at a university for 1 year, having been a CEO in another institution for almost 4 years before joining the Council of Legal Education. What I'm trying to do is to encourage you that yes, it is important that you pass your exams. There may be circumstances and situations that may arise that may lead you not to pass in that one city. That would not be the end of the world. And secondly, I want to tell you from where I stand, and that Tari has already pointed out, we have no desire to fail you. In fact, for those I have taught, I tell you, it is easier work on me if you excel and pass. I don't want students coming or threatening to come and occupy CLE every other day so that I'm afraid to go to my office because students are failing. It doesn't give me pleasure or joy. So it is easier for me to have you pass. I don't want to be asking examiners, invigilators, moderators questions. Why do you think this exam paper was not so well done? Was it there was the problem CLE, was the problem KSL? And we have had interactions to discuss these things. You see, it takes a lot of my time if students do not do well. It is easier for me if you are all to pass. And the same for director here at Kenya School of Law. So please take it from me, and I'm doing it from the bottom of my heart. We have no desire, and we do not deliberately fail our students. I have just given you a very short synopsis of my journey towards being where I am and towards being an advocate. From 98 to 2010, how many years are those? Has it failed to allow me to achieve what I would consider and many would consider success in life? So it is not the end of the world, but there is also a requirement from us. The job that we have been given by our founding statutes is to give certain assurances to the public concerning your ability and capacity to become advocates. And sometimes we give that assurance by giving you the certification and the qualifications that you have. So already assurances have been given to the public by virtue that you have done your secondary education, you have gone to universities, you have qualified in the universities, and therefore that by itself is an assurance that you are all competent to be practitioners. Now this is just the last phase of that assurance, and we are hoping that that assurance and guarantee will not just be honest by ourselves to you, but also to the public who will be receiving your services. And therefore, I normally say, I do not have any marks hidden in my pocket that I would distribute at my whims and fancy. We will only score you on how you have achieved. And as I've said, if you have not achieved the best that you would have wanted, there's still another opportunity. In fact, I am a believer of second and third chances, because were it not for those opportunities for myself, I would not have stood where I stand to talk to you. Having said that, Director will permit me another 5 minutes to just interact with students concerning the role of Council of Legal Education. I think you are now quite aware of the role that we have in the process that you are now beginning. The council is established under Section 4 of the Legal Education Act, that's Cap 16B. The functions are prescribed in Section 8 of that Act. And part of it is to regulate legal education and training in Kenya offered by legal education providers. So we may have interacted with you when you accredited the institutions that you may have come from. We also license legal education providers. We supervise legal education providers. We advise government on matters concerning legal education. And we administer professional examination, which is prescribed under Section 13 of the Advocates Act. That's the Advocate Training Program examination that you are to undertake at the end of the year. So you will interact with CLE principally on two grounds. Firstly, indirectly, through our regulatory role in relation to this KSL and ATP program. But more importantly, you will interact with us directly through the services related to the function of us examining you through the ATP program. When we talk about that examination function, we administer the exams pursuant to Section 8(1)(f) of the Legal Education Act, as read with Section 13(1)(b) of the Advocates Act. The ATP examination that are administered by us constitute of 4 components. I think they have been mentioned. The first component is the oral examination. And that oral examination that Madam Director mentioned confers you 20% of the total score. Then there's the project work. Again, from the project work, you will have 20%. So somebody mentioned 16. I believe that 16 meant 16 out of 20. And then there is the final written examination that we administer at the end of the program, normally at the end of the year and mid-year. I mentioned about it in a bit, but it constitutes 60%. And then after that, you have another component. So those total to 100%, but there is that component of pupillage, which is graded on a pass or failed basis. So you have just to attend the pupillage and fill in all the necessary documentations. But our desire and hope is not just to go there to fulfill righteousness. You know, when Christ went to the River Jordan and found John the Baptist, his cousin, the cousin, knowing the position of John the Baptist, of Christ, felt that he should not be the one baptizing. In fact, he was willing to be baptized by Christ. But Jesus told him, let's just do it to fulfill all righteousness. So some of these things we do not because it is so critical or relevant. We do it just to fulfill righteousness. We are hoping that even as we mark you on a fail or pass basis, that would not just be on account of you going there to fulfill all righteousness. So the examination requires that you do the seated examination, and we do offer those examinations twice in a year, normally in April and in November. A person who has been duly admitted and successfully undertaken ATP at KSL, the program that you are starting, is eligible for
that examination, and one who has sat both orals and project will only be the ones, not just completing the program, but you having sat the oral and the project examination. And you must also be registered as a candidate with us. I know you are doing your registration here, but you will also have a time to do registration. Oral and project component examined here. We have delegated that mandate to KSL. And once the candidates have done their final papers, we consolidate and then we put it together. So if you pass successfully those components and score a total of 50%, then you would be deemed to have passed. So let me use the 16 that was given. If you do 16 plus 16, you have. So what do you require to pass out of 60? The written component. I hope I'm speaking to somebody. Hallelujah. The registration process, with effect to this year, we'll have two-step registration process. The first one is a preliminary registration that will be undertaken in the month of May or June, thereabouts, and it is intended to have the candidate upload all their required documents within our online platform. There's an administration cost, just a one-off of 1,000 for the registration. And that then helps us have all that information so that by the time you do your exam and you want clearances, it will not be at that time that we find now that you have no certificates, you have no components that are required. And therefore, the last minute when you want to be gazetted, you come to us. So we want to do that now more formally and systematic. And then the second step is the registration for the examination. And this is normally undertaken in September up to October. Thereabout. The steps only become available when the candidates' names have been shared to us by the Kenya School of Law that you have completed this program, so that we know you are qualified for that process. And during this stage, the registration of candidates requires the payment of the full examination fee for them to be able to undertake that. In terms of fee, you'll be required for each unit to pay 5,000 for regular candidates. For the units that you'll take. Again, we have indicated that we do the exams in April and November, isn't it? You may be unwell, you may be bereaved, there may be reasons that you want to defer, and you may not want to defer all the papers. Some of you may think that it's too heavy a component. You may even stagger. So you do register for 5 and then do the 4 in the next sitting. And therefore, again, I think it was brought up by one of our colleagues that sometimes the pass rate that is indicated is not fully representative of the position, because there are those who have sat for lesser units in that regard. So a candidate may register for those units, and you are free to register both in November and in April for the exams. For those who are financially constrained, there is a financial system through HELP. It is run by us, but we have an MOU with the HELP. There is a by examination loan program that is given, so you can apply for help, for support. We are cognizant that not everyone may be able to have all these. After you have been cleared, you have completed all the components, you have been examined, then you will be gazetted. You will be required to be gazetted as compliant. And gazettement is done by CLE. After you have been gazetted, then you are able to petition for admission. You petition the Chief Justice, and that would be then your first formal work as a qualified advocate to petition for your own admission before you start petitioning for others. So CLE undertakes this gazettement on a quarterly basis. at the end of every quarter. I'm pointing out this because sometimes again we have that problem. I have received a number of suit documents challenging me as to why I have not gazetted one in December, and they were to be gazetted in December, they qualified. But by the time we receive all those information, collect them, the time for the petition, because we do it quarterly, has passed. It is not that we are not gazetting you, we just gazette you quarterly. We have an understanding, the judiciary, with her ladyship, the Chief Justice. She actually admits, in fact, we normally agree very early on admission of students who have qualified. In fact, the next admission, I think, is going to be on April 4th, and we knew it by the time we did December gazettement. There will also be another one immediately we have. We had a challenge in social media. I think you, being interested party, may have followed it, where we were blamed for admitting 921 students in one admission. The agreement we had with the Chief Justice was that as many as qualified will be admitted, will not delay you. However unpleasant it may look, we will still admit you, because I have said the process that we do is about certification of your qualification. So note that after a gazettement, you will petition. So you will be interacting with us. We are here to support you. I can tell you for a fact, it will be my great joy, as it has always been, when I attend admission of the candidates who have gone through this process as advocates of the High Court. Otherwise, I want you to wish you all the best in this endeavor. It is not the first time you are being examined. Some of you have had the privilege of having cleared everything in one sitting. Others have gone through the system the way we have. I can assure you it's not a life and death, in as much as it may determine your life, but it's not a life and death so that you must kill yourself. I am, when he introduced me, he said, I'm Jack. There's a saying that relates to me specifically, that all work without play makes Jack a dull boy. I believe I've not been very dull. Otherwise, Godspeed, and thank you, Director, for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. I think that it has been good that you hear it direct from CLE. You will not be relying on second-hand rumors, second-hand info. They have come here, they have told you what to expect, and you shall see them again towards the end of the year. So thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much, Dr. for coming to this induction. So, good afternoon once again. We have been here for quite some time, but I will beg your indulgence for a few more minutes as I make my remarks. This is actually going to be the one and only time I get an opportunity to speak to you. So give me those few minutes. So let me start first of all on behalf of the Kenya School of Law Board of Directors, management, staff, to welcome all of you as our new cohort, the 2026-2027 cohort of the Advocates Training Program. This year, from the applications that we received, we have sent out letters of admission to about 2,000, just over 2,000 successful applicants. I think as of yesterday or Tuesday, we probably registered about 1,400, 1,500. So there are a few more who are yet to indicate whether they will be registering or deferring. But we anticipate that this class will be approximately 1,700 to 1,800 because we get some deferrals. And as Anastasia said, we shall be divided into your morning afternoon and evening online classes as per your preferences. And one of the things we pride ourselves on, apart from the fact, of course, that we give you that opportunity to choose your preferred class, is that when we then divide you into firms, that is done totally randomly. And that, I believe, is a strength because it caters for the incredible diversity that we have here at the school. You have come from very many different local universities. There are some of you who have studied overseas. We have mature students, those who have been in practice or in the work environment for long, then going back to school. Others of you have come, majority of you, straight through the education system, so high school, university, and then now here from all over the country, different counties. So you have a great diversity here, and that those firms allow you to get to know, mix with other people that you may not have been mixing with before. Probably in your universities, you had your little groups, your friends that you hung out with. But the power of networking means that anyone that you meet with now, these are the people that you shall be interacting with for very many years. They're the ones who will vouch for you. And they're also the ones who will be able to say, if in your firms you're not working, they'll be like, do not give that guy a brief if you want it done. That guy, he'll not do it, and so on. So this is your opportunity to really build very strong networks through your firms and your classes. In terms of gender, I think as the trend been in the last few years, we are seeing more and more females registering, being admitted to do the law program. So to some extent, the boy child is now an endangered species when it comes to law. We shall do our bit to try and pull up and encourage males to join, so that when it comes to that issue of the 10th P, that there is sufficient ground. So a lot has been said by the different speakers today, and I'll try and cover some of what may have been missed or emphasize some of the things, because from previous experience, we know the things that are of interest to you, the things that you may have questions about, and also to emphasize some of the points that have been said. Agnes over there said that no one had told her that it was possible to get the 9 Ps last year. Maybe she was not paying attention at that point, because that is one of the things we always emphasize, that it is possible. Very many people come through the program successfully. Last year, if you take all the 4 admissions that the Chief Justice carried out, I think she admitted about 2,000 new advocates. So if this rumor of gatekeeping was true, then there's no way that we'd be having 2,000 people being admitted every year. It is very possible. What you need to do is to work hard from the very beginning and to realize that 1 year passes very, very fast. In fact, not even 1 year, it's like 9 months of learning. We're already at the end of January. Monday classes start. By the end of October, you're finished with your classes. November, you're facing CLE. So do not think that because we are at the beginning of the year, you have got the luxury of time. For this year, just focus. If you work, make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to actually participate in the studies. Because much as online classes, we've got the morning, afternoon, and evening, much as people see the evening class as a part-time class, the ATP is a full-time program. So you have to work put in the same amount of effort as someone who is attending classes physically during the day. The issue of the dress code has been mentioned. Just to emphasize that what we apply is the LSK dress code. We don't have a separate dress code of our own. So if you go and download that dress code, abide by it, then you will have no problems. The security at the gates are there to enforce it, as well as the lecturers. So please follow the instructions that they give. If they have, I know once in a while we have some issues, especially sometimes with the females and the length of the skirt, then Anastasia here and any of the other lecturers are always available to intervene. But if you don't abide, then you can be turned away at the gate, or if you make it in, then you can also be asked to leave a class. So gentlemen, make sure you wear your ties at all times. For those who do not, we understand that because of the economic situation, some of you may find it hard to purchase sufficient official attire. We do have some donations that are given by well-wishers, lawyers to the school, which we keep at Gate C at the hostels there through the hospitality office. You can be able to check, see if you find an outfit that fits you, and those are available free. So for those ones, as I said, for those of you who may have the need, do not just suffer in silence. Go and find out if there's something there that you can use. And again, for those of you who have friends in the profession who may be wondering what to do with their old attire, please tell them the school accepts donations, and those are then given to students free of charge. The issue of the class allocations has also been mentioned, and even though majority of you will get what you prefer, we do have that 2-week window within which you can change classes. But after that, please note that you will not be able to change. So after term 1, if you decide, okay, I'm now tired of the morning class, or I've moved to Thika Road and it's now difficult to get to KSL, you want to change to an online class, we will refuse that. Think now, decide now which class you want to attend. Possibly only an emergency medical case may be able to change. Stay. Please familiarize yourself with all the school policies and systems. Already you'll have come across the finance policy, which determines the minimum fee deposit, but there are other policies and handbooks that the school has in place to guide the actually downloaded the ATP curriculum from the school website, or I've had a look at it. Anyone? I can see a few hands. That is what guides this program. I would advise you to take what's there on the website, download it, have it on your laptop or gadget, and it has a lot of the rules that we follow. The student council, one thing that they did not mention and which is asked sometimes is there money? No, no money. It is totally voluntary. So as a student rep, student council member, that is something that you're doing out of your own love for leadership and to serve your fellow classmates. We do give a bit of airtime because we needed to facilitate communication with your classmates, but no, there's no allowance for the student representatives. Another issue with regard to class that I should mention is policies in place, and we carry out lecturer evaluation every term, at the end of every term. So when that time comes, please participate again. That is the opportunity to give us feedback on how the lecturers are performing. If someone is constantly late, if they may not attend, or if they're conversing, if they're doing a very good job, please provide that information to us, because we use it to improve on the services that we deliver. And all those comments are taken in anonymously and shared with the lecturers after the exercise is done. Professor Mali mentioned that for the exam, you will be able to access a loan from HELB. At the school, we had a similar arrangement for a number of years. We were building up a revolving fund. Unfortunately, due to budget cuts, for the last couple of years, we have not been able to provide that support. This year, again, as things stand, we do not have any money, but last week, through the intervention of Mr. Makoia, your outgoing president, we had a meeting with the Treasury CS to go and put forward a case for some money to be given to the school in the supplementary budget. We got positive noises, but we wait until the budget is passed to see whether some money will be given and how much. So if it is successful, that may be available to top up what you have paid to register. But I said that is something that we wait and see, and details will be communicated if that happens. So for now, unfortunately, we are unable to provide you with financial assistance. I know I've been getting very many emails down to 80,000 at the moment. So those who have been able to pay 80,000 are being registered, and we've also extended the registration deadline by a couple of weeks so that they can those in need may continue trying to raise their fees. What else? The library, you've been told about the location. You may be the first cohort that will enjoy our new library building. That is what this is over here. The physical structure is complete. It was handed over to the school in November last year, and we are hoping to start equipping it this quarter, and hopefully, depending on a few physical changes that need to be made, maybe by the end of term one, the library will have moved there, and then you shall be able to make use of it. But all that is ongoing work. The issue of mental health has been mentioned. It is indeed a serious matter. When I joined the school, we did not have a student counselor, but it became very apparent that students undergo stress at the Kenya School of Law. Life generally can be stressful, and it is important that we provide the assistance that we can to you, which is why we made space to employ a student counselor. And since Dorcas came on board, she has actually been able to assist many of you. So do not suffer in silence. Share your issues through your class reps, or go to her directly. Also, as students, watch out for each other. If you see a student behaving out of character, or looking as if they may need help, either approach them or mention it to the class coordinator, to the student counselor, so that they can be assisted. It can be financial, it can be emotional, whatever it is. Let us not suffer by ourselves. Now, just to close with a few general remarks that I wish to share with you today. And if there was one word that I would want to emphasize to you as lawyers and soon to be advocates, it is communication and the importance of communication. Yesterday, we had a meeting between our lecturers and service providers from CLE to just discuss aligning ourselves with regards to the ATP and also doing a small postmortem of the November results. Mr. Nodo, in his professional ethics class, may be able to share with you what discoveries we made regarding to that paper. But it was very clear that one of the big issues that examiners look for is clarity. Clarity in terms of answering the exams. And a common thread is anyone who performs poorly has failed to communicate clearly. Law requires clarity. Clarity of thought, clarity of speech, clarity of writing. If you watched the JC interviews for the Judge of Appeal vacancies, those candidates who did well communicated very well when they were being asked questions. They were cool, they were calm, they spoke clearly, and even where they may not have had an answer to a question, they communicated it in a way that impressed the interviewers. So as lawyers, communication is your tool of trade. And lack of clarity is what will always lead to bad outcomes. You will get unclear laws, you'll get conflicting judgments because judges then have to interpret ambiguous provisions. And sometimes they may even find that the judgments being delivered themselves are unclear in terms of what reasoning led to a particular decision. So as you go through the program, I hope that you shall use this opportunity to improve your communication, both written and verbal. The oral exams give you that opportunity. For those of you who may not be so good at writing, you've got 20 marks there that you can easily pocket. Those of you, again, who may not be so strong in the verbal, you've got the projects, you've got the written exam at the end of the year. And talking about projects, one of the issues we face every year is where students do not meet the 2/3 attendance of farm meetings rule. Then they come and say, oh, the minutes were wrongly compiled, or we had more meetings than that, and if we had that opportunity to submit more up-to-date minutes, then you'll see that I meet those requirements. But we do not entertain them because, again, you'll have a briefing on orals and on projects, and there are guidelines. It is your responsibility as a firm and as a member of a firm to ensure that accurate minutes are kept and that an accurate project assignment is handed in at the end of the day, because that is what is examined. That is what we pass over to the CLE. As Professor said, we are only agents when it comes to projects and orals. So what we pass over to them is what you give us to us. We do not make any alterations to it. So if you're going to say, I attended 2/3, we'll simply look at the project and can even give it to you and you'll see. Here are the minutes for this day, this day, this day. You are not there. Your fellow colleagues recorded you as absent. They cannot later, and even you as a firm, you cannot later come and write to us and say, oh, actually so-and-so was present. We just made a mistake. So by the time you are signing on the day of submitting the project work, go through it yourself individually. Do not just rely on your secretary or the chair of the firm. As a firm member, make sure that it reflects the work that you have done. That is the only way in which you benefit. Otherwise, you'll get an I. Council will tell you, go back to the school. We'll give you another firm next year, and you'll have to do that particular project again, which is a real pity because that will be 1 year wasted. So it has been a long morning. I think I shall stop there. As you may know, my tenure here at the school expires in a couple of months, so this may be the last time that I will meet most of you in this particular setting, but maybe our paths will cross in future. The board will be conducting interviews for a substantive director and also possibly appointing someone to act pending the appointment of a substantive director. So please provide your cooperation to my successors. And I wish you all the very best in your studies here at the school. This is a fantastic place, a great learning environment, lots to do, new friends to make, and take advantage of it. It's 1 year that can be very memorable in your future. Thank you all very much. I think we will be able to take a few questions for anything that may not be have been clarified up to now. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Director. Now it's time for the questions. The one for the lunch, I don't know why we are going to eat lunch today because the kitchen is still closed. Now, questions? This side? Yes, there. Then we go like that. We finish with that one. Tell us your name first and then we begin. Tell her, she should tell us her name.
My name is
Is it? Oh, this should be off, eh? Okay, proceed.
For organizing today's program. Basically, my question is not regarding today's program. My question is directed to CAB, CEO, and the director.
Use the mic, eh? Move the mic near. Yeah, like that.
And the director of Kenya School of Law. So basically, we've been hearing rumors regarding the admission of a student to Kenya School of Law who have not passed the required subjects. So universities are still allowing students who have not attained the required minimum grade. So what are like their effect, or rather, why are they allowing students to attain universities in the first place if at the end of the day they cannot be admitted to the School of Law?
Okay, thank you for that. Next. Anybody else that side? None. Here.
Online question. My question goes to the team on CLE. Is it true that CLE also take institutional responsibility coming out of the master plan?
It's open.
We leave it to the students and the professor.
Okay, before the next person speaks, I'm informed that the cafeteria is open, the student cafeteria is open, even that other cafeteria, so lunch will be had there. Okay, next. Anybody here? Yes.
I'm Joyce. Karim. My question is, for the people that maybe don't pass on the first attempt, do they have to wait for a whole year to retake, or they will just do it maybe on April and get the admission the same year?
Okay, thank you. Next, that side. Yeah, there's nobody. That side. Anybody who wants to ask a question on that other side? None. So, those questions, oh, there is somebody. Oh, there at the end. Yes. We hear you very clearly. Proceed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. During the weekends, librarian, you'll answer that? Okay, thank you for that. Now, all these questions, most of them were for the CEO, so you can just give them the time. Or do you want to come and answer from here?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon one more time, colleagues. Now, let me speak directly to the question about institutional responsibility. Who asked that question? Thank you. There is no institutional responsibility on anyone. There is personal responsibility for, I mean, you are the one who sits for exams. The CLE, Kenya School of Law will have taught you. CLE administers the exams. So passing or failing is an individual responsibility. And those I have taught, I've seen. Mr. State, I think I've seen in front of me. Good to see you. Those, I think I taught you them. And you know the principle. I mean, we must not be people who like back passing. The only point at which you begin to introspect and take responsibility for your actions is the point at which you get to take charge of your life. So avoid backpassing, look for the problem from within, and don't like to backpass so that you avoid to take responsibility for your own issues. More importantly, I want to take you back to the conversation by Professor Mumai. What he said is the fact that you may fail to pass on the first round does not mean it is going to be the same for you forever. There is always an opportunity. What we need to not to cloud our mind is you see yourself as a potential victim or a potential failure. I mean, the reality is right now, the admission to this program has given each one of you a clean slate. And that clean slate gives you the opportunity to be part of those who will pass their exams. So don't live with the doubt of, I am going to be part of the 70,000. Don't accept now, no exams have been administered. So please be prepared to pass and be admitted November next year. Let me get and I know so many, some of them are my classmates, some are people who are my students. Advocates. The advocacy part is just one of the so many options that are available to you. Then all of us are looking towards becoming advocates. Most of us maybe, but not all of us. In terms of the question of research, how long does it take you to research? The question came from someone, is that credible? Yes. If you don't make it, let's say in November, you have the opportunity to receive from as early as April. In fact, not even receipt, because you don't have to take all the 9 exams. If you fail, for example, you're not very prepared for the entire 9 units. You have the opportunity to, stagger some of them. So that, let's say you register for the November exams, you may choose to sit for 4 of them, then you sit for the other 5 in April. If you do so and you pass in all of them, you will still be eligible to be admitted within the same year with your peers. So there is no limitation in terms of how soon or how late you can receive any paper that you may have to receive. Okay. And just something else about people who may not, people being admitted to study LLB, but they're not being getting into the ATP program. Again, part of the issue is there are people who get admitted into the ATP or into university with ATP through court orders. If you can, if anybody comes to the school with a court order compelling this direct the school to admit them, the school cannot decline that. So again, part of the issue, part of the conversation is, you know, judicial orders that are given to individuals. And again, that is a factor that is outside the control of either of the two institutions. Thank you so much.
Really to respond well, I think he has covered most of what I have said. Said to add that in as much as one ought to take responsibility, you know, responsibility comes when there is a failure on my part. If I have done something wrong and you come and tell me you have not done right here, then I take responsibility. But one thing that God's schooling and seeing does is a lot of introspection. I think director has indicated that even yesterday we had that conversation and we asked ourselves, have we done justice? Is there a place that we have failed on our part? We introspect. And sometimes it's not even in terms of failure. We ask ourselves, is there a way we will improve our processes so that we get the best out of it? And McHugh, I pointed out that the mandate bestowed upon us and our politicians leads us to give statements on quality. In fact, it would be a failure on our part if we passed you just because people are making noise, because people are complaining. In fact, in the December exam, the November exam cycle, the ones that were released in December, quite a number of students have come. Have said, no, I did that paper well, and I think I was pregnant. We look with them through the process. We say, this is what you want, this is what the expectation. You still feel that you are pregnant. And some of them doing that, now having seen what was required and having seen I actually reached through that I've contained I received. In fact, the opportunity they ask, which we will consult, is do we have a second help? Because sometimes if you fail and you retake, it's a while since you did it, and therefore it may be a problem for you to pass the second step. That is a conversation that we would have, and gladly so. As long as we're sure by the time you qualify through this process, you are actually qualified to be an advocate as per the rules and regulations. So we're not failing people. We want to assist those who may either have failed or think they were failed. And in fact, we normally have another process. If you still feel that you're discontent, we give somebody else to remark. So we are currently undertaking the remarking process. Those who mark in the first instance are not there for the remarking. In fact, the service provider, those who set are different people, those who moderate are different people, those who mark are different people, those who mark are different people. So at the end of it, we have tried to create a framework where we give you the exact or what we believe actually to be what you deserve. Having said that, the way the question was framed was mass failure. Where is the mass failure? If you do 9 exams and you're able to clear 8 of them or 7 of them or 6 of them, is there mass failure?
Unless you do 9 and fail on the 9, then you have mass failure. I have looked at those results. I don't see mass failure on my part. Perhaps you forgive me because I look at it differently and I have told you I have a history as to why I make it happen. And if every other time you think that this is a mass failure, you know, being very negative in terms of attitude, already having that perception of feeling that I'm going to win, you're not exact. Do your best. Leave the rest that you cannot control to those who have control of it. If you have given your best, why should you feel? So I hope that does satisfy you. We are starting from a clean slate that I said. We will try the level best to facilitate. We know the areas of concern, having reviewed the performance the director has pointed out. We try and improve our processes so as to facilitate more and more to pass those, not that we will for people to fail. I think the friend has addressed the issue of receipts and even very tech, if you are not taken. We open it up. Perhaps just to add that we are developing legal education regulations that we are intending to table before Parliament by probably end of February. We have consultants like stakeholders. We may even have a session with you with another team of Council of Legal Education, the quality assurance team, so that we get your view on it, and then we table those regulations. When they come, it is very likely that after a certain number of takes, if you retake, say, 5 times, and you are not passing, you may be required to now come and retake the entire course of the institution. As a way of also helping, because ultimately it's about quality. It's not about you passing a paper. It's about guaranteeing that you make a good advocate. So that I must point out, and therefore for you, you have an open-ended process, but there need to be a number that we given out to me if the regulation have developed. So that has mentioned about those who are admitted to university. Basically, as per our regulations, we require universities that we have licensed to give us a list of those that they have admitted and to ascertain that their qualification criteria align to the legal qualification criteria. So if the universities go against the legal prescribed criteria, they will have no control. We have our sympathies and we are working towards aligning certain things, especially for those who are part from abroad. And they may have taken a different system, they may have other qualifications. The question, for example, we are trying to address through the regulations. Supposing you have a first degree, you may not have gotten the qualification at Form 4, but you have subsequently done something in the people you need law. And for us, we are very sympathetic to those situations. We have no problem looking at a case-by-case basis on those requests. Some of you may have come to us, and having taken you through the process, we may have agreed with your requests and allowed you to take the resource. So we are also facilitating, and I hope that we look at us as partners, so that by the time we meet here, and it's something that for me worries me. You see, I'm more concerned if I pass something that I don't believe I passed. I'd rather fail what I believe I passed. But that one which you know you did not pass, and you have stolen, you have bribed, you have, it will follow you. It will follow you. As sure as there is a God. Take 3, 4 times. In fact, it shows the character of the person. If you do it, that try and steal, because I'm mentioning this, there are those who want to approach a service provider and give them money so that we can pass. We have put in place measures to ensure that that does not happen. But it talks about the techniques of the person. Is it easier to earn so much money, bribe the money so that you can pass, than just attend classes, do well, and be certain that I qualify for this position, I have this qualification? In fact, I'm normally very proud of those who have maybe second class, lower classes, who come and qualify and do the stuff. It's not every one of us who will get first class or the best grades. As long as you have done your best, the ones that you cannot control, please leave it to others. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me also add something about this issue of the institutional responsibility. So as far as KSL is concerned, we believe that our responsibility under our mandate is to ensure that we train you. What does that mean? First, that we have a curriculum in place so that when you come, you know what you're expected to learn, what the learning outcomes are. Second, that we have hired competent teachers who will train you. Third, that now those lecturers actually deliver in terms of attending class. So if you were to come here and you find that in one term of 11 weeks, your lecturer has come for 3 classes, then we're talking about institutional responsibility. If you come and you find that a lecturer is coming to class drunk, that is institutional responsibility. You come and you find that our library has no books, those are the institutional responsibilities that we look at. Evaluations that I mentioned, if you evaluation is scoring someone very poorly, yes. No. And verify to an independent observer that all those things are done. And the rest is up to you as an individual. Are you attending class? Do you come and spend your time on TikTok or put in place the systems and policy to for you. And then after that, the responsibility is yours. Ratio of admissions, that one is one that's been there since I joined the school. And it's part of what I was talking about, clarity of legal provisions. When you find people interpreting the same provision differently, then that means there's a problem. You had different high courts giving different decisions about whether someone was admissible or not. Eventually went to the Court of Appeal, we got a decision which we thought clarified for 2 years, things were okay. Last year, another Court of Appeal decision saying something different, saying we've got 2 Court of Appeal decisions giving conflicting decisions. Hopefully the regulations that Prof has referred to and sort that out for once. But I think that has probably brought us to the end.
There are 2 or so questions from online. It would be unfair to lock them out. Now, there are people who are online. One of them is asking about the access to the library for online people, and that is why I want you to talk about it later. Then there's those ones who are asking about the pre-bar examination and registration, whether they'd be allowed to register. Once you get your pre-bar results, you can just go back to the portal if you have been rejected and make an appeal there. Then there's the issue of people who are asking about joyriders in the farm. When you have a joyrider in your farm, it is your personal responsibility. If you fail because of a joyrider, it's the responsibility of that particular farm. Because the